In the name of Allah, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful to His creation. All praise is due to Allah, who beautified the earth with His vegetation. He embellished the heavens with the constellation. He created the sun and the moon in orbital harmony and rotation. He gave us day and night in perfect alternation. He rose over His majestic throne after creating the creation and revealed to us the Quran, guaranteeing its preservation. He sent to us a prophet to be a paradigm of emulation and blessed us with kalimatul shahada as our solid foundation. He gave us the Sharia to be our source of legislation. He gave us the faculty of hearing, seeing, and sensation. He united us from different tribes and races to make us an ummah, one nation. He is the King of Kings on the final day of compensation. And He shall raise our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam on that day on the praiseworthy station. He made heaven for the believers a powerful innovation, a powerful motivation, and desired destination, and created hell to be the place of excommunication and eternal domination. Praise be to Allah, for all that is in the heaven bows to Him in prostration. The chairman of this occasion, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kwara State, Malam Abdurrahman Abdurazak, ably represented by Malam Saadu Abdul Salam, SA on Strategy. Allow me to respectfully acknowledge the distinguished personalities here, and most especially my Sheikh, my mentor, my supervisor, both in Masters and PhD level, Dr. Ibrahim Ade, the person I regarded as my father after my biological father, with the whole meaning of the word father. All other important dignitaries here present are recognized, and I will respectfully stand on the existing protocol and say to all of you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The theme of this symposium, as presented to me by the organizers, was the role of Saudi Arabia in serving the society. A case study of Professor Abdurazak Alaro. But in my humble opinion, something should be added to the theme. It should either be the role of Saudi Arabian government in serving the society, or in development of the society, or the role of the alumni, Saudi Arabian alumni, in developing or in serving the society. So I make my paper to be good for both the two, whatever is chosen. This symposium was purposely to celebrate with our brother, who was recently honored by a Royal Medal of Excellence among the 10 most distinguished alumni of the year 2022. The recipient was awarded the medal by His Royal Highness Prince Faisal bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, the incumbent governor of the Holy City and State of Madinah on 15th June 2022. Now the preamble. There is no much need to say that the Saudi Arabian government is leading other nations in rendering service to Islam. But which government in the world will better do that? Is it not the seat of the holy lands, which were trodden by Allah's prophets in their quest to please their Lord through devotion in His worship? Was it not the first land of Islam? Is there not the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, which was the first house established for mankind, blessed and a guidance for the world? If they are not in their land, the sacred haram of our Prophet, and all the revered historical grounds of Islam, there is no doubt that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabian efforts in serving Islam, Muslims and humanity in general could not have been completed without the favor of Allah and the good leadership that it enjoyed since the inception of the Al Saud government. I'm not here to outline figures or set out historical facts with its dates, but I want to reiterate the great efforts of this noble kingdom in serving the Muslim Ummah in various ways and means, which led to the emergence of this great personality that suddenly appeared in the African arena and played an unprecedented role in the areas of research, education, and Islamic leadership. This personality is known, but our revered Sheikh, Imam, Professor Abdul Razak, Ibn Abdul Majid Sambo Alaro, the immediate past head of Department of Islamic Law in the University of Ilorin, a founding member of the African Union of Scholars in Bamako, and its pioneer head of research and translation department, the founder of the esteemed As-Sunnah Academy for Da'wah and Research in Nigeria, member of the London Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, the world's leading professional body for dispute resolution and dispute management, a member of the board of directors of Nigerian Endowment Foundation, member of the advisory board of the Central Bank of Nigeria on non-interest banking, the chief imam of Abu Bakr Siddiq Mosque, who is also in his way to be a member of the National Institute MNI, after being nominated by His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari GCFR, the Nigerian president, to be a participant of the Senior Executive Course number 44 in the prestigious National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in Kuru, Jos, Plateau State, which he is currently and gracefully undergoing. The role of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in serving Islam. No doubt that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has put great efforts in spreading Islam and serving the Muslim Ummah around the world. First and foremost, the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is unique in applying a clear approach to the application of Sharia, with its limits and provisions derived from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, along with complete independence of justice and the judicial system. No doubt this is what made it one of the safest countries on earth for its citizens, residents, and visitors. From another point of view, the kingdom has put great efforts in taking care of the noble book of Allah through the King Fahd complex for the printing of the noble Quran. This service to the book of Allah is an unprecedented one in the history of Islam. The complex reproduces millions of Quran copies, interprets it, publishes and distributes it globally in different languages. In addition to this, it has also shown great interest in the establishment of international programs and competitions for that. This goes hand in hand with the kingdom's efforts and concern for the Prophet's Sunnah, which was practicalized through the recent establishment of King Salman's complex for the service of Hadith. The Saudi Arabian policy towards expanding the two holy mosques, developing their architecture and providing the best services for pilgrims and those performing Umrah is another gesture implemented out of its belief in the great responsibility and honor granted to it. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has firm and unique historical positions in support of the Palestinian issue and in support of Al-Aqsa Mosque, with its initiatives in support of Muslim causes and its benevolent efforts in support of Muslim minorities around the world. Here, the efforts of King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center, its pioneering works, programs, support, projects and humanitarian programs it provides in various countries of the world, including our dear country, Nigeria, must be commended. Mr. Chairman, sir, another factor that makes the kingdom to lead the world is its efforts in combating extremism and its continuous call for peace, tolerance, peaceful coexistence with others, and promoting the values of moderation and nation building. With regard to education, the kingdom's efforts to teach Islamic sciences and call to Allah the Almighty with correct and moderate approach, according to the Sunnah, is something that deserves to be commended with all reverence and appreciation. In this context, the mention of what Allah bestowed upon the kingdom for the establishment of the Islamic University, the pioneer of Sharia sciences, and the banner under which it stood and was raised, through which Saudi Arabia revived this religion in various parts of the world for more than 60 years. Now the Islamic University of Madinah. More than 60 years ago, this great Islamic edifice was established, precisely on 25th of Rabiul Awwal 1381, corresponding to September 6, 1961, by the order of King Saud bin Abdul Aziz, may Allah have mercy on him, who ordered for the establishment of a university that specializes in Sharia and religious sciences in the Prophet's city. The Islamic University started with one college, namely the College of Sharia. Then it expanded to more than 10 faculties and colleges. Its buildings are located on the western bank of Wadi al-Aqib, south of the royal palaces, 5 kilometers from the Prophet's mosque. That brings Muslim students from all over the world to receive legal studies and Islamic culture so as to return to their countries after their graduation as advocates of truth and guidance, giving good tidings and warnings, using the proper approach in accordance with the teaching of the Prophet, in compliance with the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَمَا كَانَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ لِيَنْفِرُوا كَافَّةً فَلَوْلَا نَفَرَ مِنْ كُلِّ فِرْقَةٍ مِّنْهُمْ طَائِفَةٌ لِيَتَفَقَّهُوا فِي الدِّينِ وَلِيُنْذِرُوا قَوْمَهُمْ إِذَا رَجَعُوا إِلَيْهِمْ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَحْذَرُونَ. The meaning is that, and it is not for the believers to go forth to battle all at once. For there shall be, separate from every division of them, a group remaining to obtain understanding in the religion, and one that is advised their people when they return to them, that they might be cautious. This is a Surah Al-Tawbah. Due to the importance of this university to the Saudi state, it went through 3 stages, beginning with an independence, being an independent institution linked to the presidency in the Council of Ministers, and lastly, being under the supervision of the Ministry of Higher Education. One of the greatest coincidences, as Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, may Allah preserve him, grant him health and sound memory, observed, he said Al-Azhar, which was the pioneer of Islamic sciences in the world for centuries, was weakened in the post-1960 period as a result of the presidential decree issued by the then President Jamal Abdel Nasser of Arab Republic of Egypt, setting up in its new colleges that specialized in conventional sciences, which crowded out the original Azhar College that specialized in Sharia, fundamentals of religion, and the Arabic language. This crowding out that happened in 1961 resulted in the weakening of Al-Azhar in both form and content. And as Allah will have it, in the same year, the flag of Islamic University was raised up to be the purest source of inspiration and knowledge seeking in Islamic sciences from all over the world. Among its important objectives when the Islamic University of Madinah was founded were, number 1, conveying the message of Islam to the world through advocacy, university education, and postgraduate studies. Number 2, instilling and developing the Islamic spirit and deepening religiosity in the life of the individuals and the society. Others are as shown in the paper distributed to you. The university also established values that are going to be consolidated, which are number one, call to Islam with wisdom and good advice. Number two, adherence to the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam through the path of the Salaf. Number three, moderation. Others are shown in the paper distributed to you. Now proceeding from its Islamic and humanitarian mission, the Islamic University trailed the path of the sun to almost all the countries of the globe, choosing from the best of its inhabitants in order to teach them the religion and raise them with good education so that they become good leaders in their societies and in their countries, who will rebuild their nation by enjoining them to do good and forbidding evil. The Islamic University remained a model for other religious institutions in the world. It is truly a university founded on piety from the first day, with the blessings of three eminent and revered sheikhs, namely Sheikh Muhammad bin Ibrahim, Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz, and Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, rahimallahu al-jami' wa hafidh al-baqi. They were among the most educated people of the current time as regards to the knowledge of the Sunnah. Mr. Chairman, distinguished personalities, graduates of the Islamic University of Madinah, and their contributions towards developing their societies. The graduates of Islamic University in Madinah are there in almost all countries of the Islamic world and beyond, including Europe, America, the defunct Soviet Union, and others. You hardly ever set foot in a place except that you find in its corners people who teach the religion of Islam according to the correct methodology. When you ask them, you will find out that they are among the graduates of Islamic University. One can realize the diversity of their contributions and service to their nations. Some of them are imams, some are teachers, some are jurists and judges. Among them are some prominent writers, journalists, politicians, and businessmen. Many of them have become leaders in their societies and warriors with the sword and with pen. Among the most prominent and influential graduates in various countries are Sheikh Ihsan Ilahi Zahir, a Pakistani Islamic scholar and founder of Jama'at Ahl al-Hadith in Pakistan, who was assassinated in a bomb blast in 1987 at the age of 42. There is also Dr. Bilal Phillips, a Canadian Islamic scholar and founder of International Open University in Qatar. There is a well-known and prominent scholar, Mufti Ismail bin Beng, Grand Mufti of Zimbabwe, and a famous motivational speaker. There is the famous reciter, preacher, and Islamic poems artist, Sheikh Mishari bin Rashid Al-Affasi. Others are there in the paper. Among them are the Special Envoy of the Prime Minister to Middle East in Malaysia. There is also the current governor of North Maluku State in Indonesia, the incumbent Mufti of Poland, the current Minister of Islamic Affairs in Malaysia, the former Minister of Islamic Affairs in Maldives, the ambassador, Sierra Leonean ambassador to Saudi Arabia, current one, the now Ugandan ambassador to Sudan, the Bosnian ambassador to Saudi Arabia. This is to mention but a few. And just 2 days earlier, I heard about the passing away of Sheikh Muhammad al-Sharif, the founder of Al-Maghrib Institute in Houston, in the USA, Texas, which he founded in 2001. He was also a graduate of Islamic University of Medina. May Allah have mercy on him. Here in Nigeria, there is no state in the south or in the north that is without an influential and prominent personality in the national service or in education sector who was taught and noted in the Islamic university. To give an example, in the north, there was late Sheikh Jafar Mahmoud Adam, the prominent Sheikh, Quranic reciter and caller to Islam. He was a graduate of College of Quran in 1993 and a colleague to our celebrant. He was unjustly killed while he was in the state of sujood during the morning prayer of Friday, 13, year 2007. May Allah have mercy on him. There was also a late Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Ibrahim Bamba of Ghanaian origin. He resided in Kano, and for about 40 years, he was there benefiting people. He was among the most diligent students of Sheikh Hamad al-Ansari, the great Madinah Hadith scholar who died in 1998. Others are shown in the paper distributed to you. Here from the south, we have Sheikh Rashid Hadiyatullah, the proprietor of Sheikh Bin Baz College in Iwo, Osun State, and a former chairman of the Osun State Pilgrims Welfare Board. He was the first student to graduate with 2 bachelor's degrees from 2 different faculties in Medina simultaneously. There is also Sheikh Aminullah Ibrahim. May Allah have mercy on him. A renowned Islamic scholar, preacher, and mentor of many young including Alaro. There is Dr. Rafi Owanla Buseri, the first PhD graduate among Nigerians in the University of Madinah. Before his graduation, he was the chairman of Nigerian Students' Union in the university. That was when we were in UG1. He is currently the Grand Mufti of Ijebu in Ogun State. Here we saw there is Dr. Sirajuddin Bilal Al-Asra. He was a senior lecturer of Islamic jurisprudence in Al-Hikmah University, Ilorin, and currently the director in Inayatullah Academy, Iwo, Osun State. There is also Associate Professor Abdul Wahab Eleshi, a respected scholar and jurist who served for many years at the Nasarawa State University, Kefi in the north, and he is currently a senior member of the Faculty of Law, Kwara State University, Malaysia. The list is so long everywhere you go. Mr. Chairman, sir, allow me now to talk about the celebrant, the awardee of Medal of Excellence by the Islamic University of Madinah, Professor Abdul Razak Ibn Abdul Majid Sambo Alaro. I have known Professor Abdul Razak very closely since more than 30 years ago, when we were both students at the Islamic University. He is a very friendly and cheerful person. You hardly meet him except that he is smiling. His jokes are always meaningful. He continually serves and helps people. He has friends across almost all the countries of the world. Everyone who knows him will undoubtedly tell you of his wisdom and gentleness. As for his participation in the fields of studies and research, he scored the highest honor. He is superior in the class over his peers, unless he became a pride to we Nigerians, to his classmates, and to other of his associates. The same can be said of his participation in scientific and cultural competitions. Professor Alaro graduated from the Faculty of Sharia in 1993, not only with a distinction, but as an overall best graduate student with first-class degree in the whole University of Medina for their 1992-93 session. Therefore, his department never hesitated in nominating him to further his studies. Before completing his studies at the master's and doctoral levels, he prepared, during that period, several research works that were accepted by a number of educational and scientific journals. As he also engaged in community services. During that time, he was appointed head of the African Translations Unit at the King Fahd Complex for the printing of the Noble Quran in Medina. After graduating from the university and obtaining his doctorate in 2002, that is 20 years back, he taught at the University of Ilorin and continued to write research papers and translated quite a large number of Arabic books into the local language. He wrote many research papers on Islamic financial institutions, published by many multinational corporations. Many of them are listed here in the paper distributed to some of you. In a nutshell, Professor Alaro has over 100 valuable researches and academic papers and books published and presented at different conferences in Nigeria and beyond. Most of his researches are in the fields of Islamic jurisprudence and economics. And as Allah will have it, this icon had the opportunity to apply his researches in practice, as he was opportune to be appointed member of the Financial Regulation Advisory Council of Experts of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and also he worked on developing Islamic financial policies for a number of companies and cooperative societies. He also participated in the membership and chairing of several Sharia boards for Islamic financial institutions in Nigeria. In the field of teaching and academic work, in addition to his lecturing in the Department of Sharia, which he has been at its head between 2019 and 2021, he supervised a number of researchers and assessed many of them, as he was appointed external examiner of postgraduate studies in various Nigerian and Malaysian universities. He attended quite a great number of seminars and conferences nationally and internationally. He represented Nigeria at the first conference on peace in Africa, which took place in South Africa in 2012. He participated in many other conferences in Saudi Arabia, Britain, Turkey, Malaysia, and many African countries, including Sudan, Morocco, Niger, Tanzania, Rwanda, among others. When it comes to advocacy, Professor Abdulrazak is a member of the Council of Scholars in Nigeria, a founding member of the Union of African Scholars in Bamako, and the head of Research and Translation Department in the new union since its inception in 2011. He has an active participation in the communication channels, beside his constant lessons in the audio, visual channel that hundreds of thousands of viewers and listeners follow. On community services, our dear friend took the initiative to establish the As-Sunnah Academy for Da'wah and Research, which controls institutes, schools, and educational activities. It takes care of the advocacy and voluntary charity works, so it became a part of him to build mosques, sponsor orphans, help patients who have limited provision, and supervise the construction of over 300 wells in different parts of the country. And lastly, the award. Our celebrant, Professor Abdulrazak Alaro, was the first Nigerian to win this kind of medal in the Islamic University of Medina in the year 2017. But that was among the 28 most outstanding alumni selected for the award. He now became the first Nigerian again to win the medal out of only 10 selected among the graduates in 60 years. He had the beautiful history of being the first and being among the best, or being the best among his own equals. He was the first product of his secondary school, Muhyiddin College of Arabic and Islamic Studies, to be allowed to join the Faculty of Law in the Islamic University of Medina without undergoing language immersion program, which was prominent at that time. He was the first Medinan graduate to be appointed as a professor among all Nigerians. The first among them to be called Chuba, and the first to earn 2 masters and 2 PhD degrees. Professor Abdurrazak later became the first postgraduate coordinator for both LMM Common Law and LM Islamic Law programs in the Faculty of Law, University of Ilorin. He was the first appointed lecturer as a supervisor for a PhD student in the Department of Islamic Law in 2014, and also the supervisor of the first PhD holder in Islamic Law of Insurance, not only from the University of Ilorin, but from any Nigerian university. Now the conclusion. No doubt that our celebrant has played an unprecedented role in the areas of research, education, and leadership. He is an icon of peace, arbitration, and social and educational development in all the stages of his life. The influence of his alma mater, the Islamic University of Madinah, on him is very apparent. He is truly a model to our teeming youth and the Nigerian scholars in general. I ask Allah the Almighty to continue to blaze the life of this icon, to give him enough health and wisdom to continue with his good works and service to Islam and humanity. May Allah reward in abundance the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for spreading light to the world through its educational institution, especially the Islamic University Madinah, our dear alma mater. We pray to Allah the Merciful to restore peace and tranquility to this our dear nation and bless us with good leaders who are merciful to our society. We pray to Allah with beautiful names of His and noble attributes to protect this country, bring to it all the desired development, give its leadership the wisdom to gear it towards more success. Oh Allah, protect our dear brothers and sisters in our Nigeria and beyond, and the whole mankind from calamities, misfortunes, plagues, distress, and disasters. Our last prayers are Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Nabi Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wassalamu alaikum.